Hello everyone, welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari Vidyapeeth for the students of class 8. Once again, nice to see you in today's English literature lecture for semester 1. Students, in the last 2 of our lectures, we understood the story from the second unit that we read, that is man's relationship with animals. And the wonderful story that we read, that was named or titled as A Secret for Two. So in the past 2 videos, we completed our reading, understanding, evaluating and inferring the entire story. So in today's lecture, we will just quickly recapitulate and summarize what we have read as one whole thing about the story, and then we will move on to discuss, understand and write or practice those activities that is given to us in our text, and try to find out which ones you have to write in your fair book and the ones you have to write in your text, and the ones you have to omit and do not write. So all this I will be covering in today's lecture. So I hope you are along with me and you are well focused. Well, without further ado, let us read the summary that we have in our material given to us. So have the material in your hand. Take a moment, be prepared. Whenever you have the English lecture, it is advisable to have your material copy with you as well as the textbook PDF. So let us go through the summary of the entire story, that is A Secret for Two, that is given to you on page number 14 and 15. Okay, distributed on these 2 pages. So I'll go through each one of these so that we will quickly recapitulate the entire story, and after this, as I just said, we will go to the textual activities and find out the ones we have to do within the text, the ones we have to do in the fair, and the ones we do not have to do. Well, let us start. Animals have always been loyal to man. In this story, a great bond between man and animals has been shown. Well, we read the entire story, not one story but 2 stories we have read, isn't it? The short one about the Arab and the long story with the name of the city Montreal and the other details we have read. So we very well understood that Joseph the white horse was having a great bond with its master. It was loyal to its master, that is Pierre Dupin. Well, in the story, what did we understand? Everything is given to you point wise. So whenever you have to answer a question about write the summary of the story, you will be able to write the very same thing that is given to you. So it's something that is already set for you. In the story, Pierre Dupin, a wagon driver, gets a new white horse to pull his wagon from his milk company, isn't it? That is what we read. The horse was gentle and kind. We understood that also. Routine of milk delivery in the Prince Edward Street starts with this splendid combination. The two, that is Pierre Dupin and the white horse Joseph, both together used to work in a combination, in a splendid combination as a pair. The new horse Joseph gets so much accustomed, so much used to the routine, the route over there, that is coming to the beginning from the milk company all the way up to Edward Street. The routine or the route was well understood, well remembered by the intelligent, the clever animal. The new horse Joseph gets so much accustomed to the routine that Pierre boasts of him that he never touches the rein. So he was so well trained now that he did not have to touch the rein, and about this Pierre Dupin used to boast proudly among his fellow workers, among his colleagues over there. The next important point in the summary is Joseph stops at a house, allows Pierre to get down and deliver the milk. Then he skips 2 houses, stops at the 3rd, and so on. And this is how they completed their entire delivery work. If somebody talks about Pierre's retirement, he says, Joseph and I will retire together. Well, we came across this part also in the story, isn't it? When Jacques had advocated the milk company manager when he was on inspection that look at that man over there, the old man. He has been on the route for 30 years and not a single complaint. The manager also praised him for his loyal work and dedication. So when Joseph was, when Pierre Dupin was told by Jacques that the manager has allowed you to take rest and you will be getting the salary as it is. What was Pierre's reaction to this? It is that if somebody talks about Pierre's retirement, he says Joseph and I will retire together, a part of the summary. Next point in the summary, when Pierre looks into the eyes of Joseph for some moments, isn't it? It feels like they are sharing some secret. Well, we already read the story, so we know what was that secret that was shared between the two. Well, one bad morning, what happens? That Jacques reveals the news, breaks the news, the dreadful news, the bad news to Pierre that Joseph is no more. He is dead. And Pierre literally breaks down. That was Pierre's reaction. And we know that this is the reaction that was bound to happen. Further, as a summarization of the entire chapter, consolation of Jacques. Consolation means he tries to console the grief-stricken heart, that is Pierre. The consolation of Jacques has no effect on Pierre, on him. Him is Pierre over here. He starts limping down the street with tears in his eyes. So, Jacques, who tries to console, does not get consoled by his words. Perhaps he starts limping down the street out of the company. He does not hear the warning yell. So as Pierre is walking down the street away from the company, what happens? A truck is approaching, so he does not hear the warning yell of the truck driver, nor does hear the screech of the brakes. So the driver had honked, the driver blew the horn, so he did not hear any of these two noises or these two sounds. Well, and the truck runs over him. He meets with an accident. The truck driver, accidentally put the truck over Pierre Dupin and he died. The ambulance doctor, when he arrived over there, he reports that he is dead. Not only that one, the most surprising thing, when the second time the ambulance doctor happens to examine, he reveals a shocking news, a shocking fact. What was the fact that doctor said? That Pierre Dupin had been suffering from cataracts, one of the eye diseases, and that too for 5 years, and he had been completely blind. So a blind person was not able to see where the truck was coming from, and that could be the reason of his death. He straight away went into the truck. So this is something that was revealed by the doctor. Now imagine, for 5 years someone who is blind, how would the person be working in a company to deliver milk? Well, we learned about this in details. Nobody in the company knows this fact. The next point, the only one who knew it, there was someone who knew that yes, the master is blind, and that was none else but Joseph. Well, so this was the entire summary, and the final line that is given to you in the summary is a wonderful line. Acknowledge this very well. What an understanding, what a friendship, isn't it? This is how friends understand each other. So here, the two people, the two men, as suggested to us in the story, that is Pierre Dupin and the white horse, that is Joseph. They understood each other. So what an understanding. See an exclamation mark. It is an exclamatory sentence, not a question. What an understanding, what a friendship. Marvelous, isn't it? So this was the short summary of the story that we have read in the past 2 lectures. Well, it is now time to discuss the activities that is given to us in our text. So have the PDF of the textbook open. Have the PDF of the textbook open with you. You have the activity 3. I hope you are able to see the activity. Activity 3 is not to be written in our fair book, so put a cross mark against it. I will now be discussing with you the textual activities, the ones which you have to do in your text, the ones you have to do in your fair, the ones you don't have to do. The very first one I am telling you, activity 3 is not to be written anywhere. So put a cross mark against it. Next we have activity 4 to discuss. Have a look at activity 4. What do you see in activity 4? Well, activity 4 is about answer the following questions. So you have a couple of questions given to you, textual questions. Well, if you look into your material, you don't have just some questions, you got altogether 23 questions to read from and remember things from. So you don't have to write all the 23 questions in your fair book. Well, this is the textual activity, and this one, activity 4, you have to write in your fair book. So the first thing that you will be writing is the glossary, isn't it? This is not a poem. Unlike the first chapter, when we had a poem, we wrote the poem followed by the glossary and followed by the textual exercise that I discussed with you in chapter number 1, unit 1, that is landscape. Well, in today's discussion, I'm telling you about what is to be written in your fair book, and we will work with the activities as well, as and when required. So I hope this is clear to you. You will be writing the glossary first when you start the chapter writing in your fair book, followed by the fourth activity, that is answer the following questions. So glossary, after the glossary you will write the question answers. Have a careful look how many question answers you have. You have got 8 question answers to write. You can very well see. I'll go through these question answers with you one at a time. You have the first one, which pair is referred to as a splendid combination? Why? Who named the white horse as Joseph? Why? How did the manager appreciate Pierre's services to the milk company? What suggestion did Jacques make to Pierre when Joseph passed away? Describe Pierre's grief over the death of Joseph, and how did Pierre meet his death? What did the doctor say about Pierre's eyesight? And the final and the 8th question that you have is Joseph made Pierre live. So these 8 questions with their answers you have to write in your fair book. I repeat again, these are the 8 question answers that you have to write in your fair book. Now about the answers, you will get the answers to these questions from the material, the physical copy if you have, or the soft copy, that is the PDF of the material that will be with you, or you will get it along with the lecture, or you have got it in the previous lectures with you. So from this you will be getting the answers. Well, the question and answers for these 8 question answers begin from the 16th question up to the 23rd question. So the 16th question onwards, you will find these 8 questions in your material, PDF, or the physical copy. So go through this and try to write the answers in your fair book. Now after writing the answers in the fair book, today itself after the lecture, you will take the snapshot of these question answers that you have written in your fair book and submit it as a part of the homework. Well, I'll mention the homework at the end of the lecture on the board, and again you will be recalled about the homework. I'm just telling you right now in the middle of this lecture. Well, I'll tell you about the same in the end also. So these 8 question answers that you see in your text needs to be written in your fair book. To complete your fair book also as a part of homework, take a snapshot, make a PDF of the same and send it after the lecture. Well, let's proceed further. You have the next activity, that is activity number 5. Have a careful look. Study the table and learn how verbs are formed by adding appropriate suffixes. A very simple grammar exercise that probably you learned in the earlier class also. Well, it is in the class 5 or 6 you must have learned, but maybe you have forgotten about it. So in a way we are going to revise, because we have come across certain words in the reading over here. So study the table along with me. You can very well see in the PDF given to you, you have the word given after the suffix. Suffix means a few letters that are added after the main verb, the main word that is given to us, in order to create a new word. As you see over there, the 8 words given to you, group wise, sharp and wide, and the suffix that is applied, that is the 2 letters en. When en is applied to sharp and wide in the original words, we happen to form a new word, sharp plus en, sharpen, isn't it? That is a verb, an action doing word, verb. So in English we can make a new word by applying a few new letters, isn't it? A short form of letters, that is en. Okay, so here sharp plus en becomes sharpen, wide plus en becomes widen. So the word sharpen and widen both are verbs, and you can also see the functional form of that verb. To make something sharp means sharpen. The meaning is also given about the word sharpen over here. To make something sharp. So similarly you got in the next column and row over there, material and central. When you add ISE or IZE, well, there are two ways of applying, making it into the verb by applying ISE or IZE. The British and the American way of writing. So materialize and centralize. Here it is given to you as IZE in both the words, but alternatively ISE also can be applied to write it as materialize and centralize. The meaning is given to you to make something modern. Materialize means to happen, to make it work, or to make it modern. The next set of words you see is simple and pure. But now in order to form a verb, unlike en, unlike ISE, unlike IZE, we are not applying the previous suffixes over here. We are using a new suffix over here. And the new suffix is IFY. Acknowledge this very well, IFY. So when IFY is added to simple and pure, a new word is created, which is a verb, action doing word. Simple, simplify. But when you make the word simple into simplify, you got to make a careful observation that the last letter E is omitted, it is eliminated. I hope you are listening to what am I saying very, very carefully and very attentively. Simple, simplify. SIMPLE, the E will be dropped out and we will replace it with IFY, simplify. Okay. Similarly, pure, we have the last letter E, PURE. E will be eliminated and we will apply IFY, purify. Well, to make something simple. Similarly, you got the word bath and breathe. Only the letter E is applied as a suffix, bath, and it becomes bathe, breathe, and it becomes breath, and it becomes breathe, BREATH, breath, and becomes breathe, BREATHE. Means to take a bath, to breathe. Well, so these were some suffixes that we understood about. Now we have an exercise based on this given to us. Complete the paragraph with appropriate verbs for the following expression. As you see in the PDF that you have with you, to make pure, to make modern, to make beautiful, to take a bath, to put into categories. So all these functional forms of the verb, that is to plus the main verb, what you call as infinitives, isn't it, has been given to us in the box over here, and we will make use of these words by bringing them into the word with a suffix used over here. As you can see, the word pure, we understood about the word purify. The meaning has been given to us: to make modern, that is materialize; to make beautiful, beautify; to take a bath is bathe; to put into categories, that is to put into groups. Now on the basis of this, we have a paragraph to complete. So let's complete the paragraph. Be very, very attentive. Note down the answers in your rough books or somewhere, and later on you can write it. A new township is being set up. Have a careful look. A new township is being set up. Here they will dash it with plants and trees. So when plants and trees will be grown in that new township, in that new houses which are being built. Well, township is where houses are constructed of similar type. It's called a township, where different people will come and reside. So they will dash it with plants and trees. Now we got to select an important or an appropriate word to fill up with the words given in the bracket over here. So have a careful look. To make pure, no, we can't say purify over here. They will purify it with plants and trees. No, that is incorrect. So we are using a trial and error method. Next one, to make modern. Are we going to use over here modernize? No, we are not going to write modernize over here. They will modernize it with plants and trees. No. But if you carefully see the next one, To make beautiful, yes, that is an appropriate one that suits over here. And we already learned that to make beautiful means beautify, IFY. So we will write the word beautify over there. Note it down. Take a moment, note it down. Take a moment and note it down. They will dash it with plants and trees. They will beautify it with plants and trees. So the first answer is beautify. So we have applied a verb over here which is created by applying a suffix beautiful or the word beauty which is changed as beautify. Well, the next sentence you see, the plants and trees will dash the air. Now when plants and trees are grown, what happens? The surroundings will become pure because there will be more oxygen, isn't it, spreading in the surrounding in that area. So the plants and trees will purify the air. Note down the second word with the suffix that we have just understood. The plants and trees will purify the air. Further, the next sentence, the organizers, well, there will be somebody who is organizing these buildings. The organizers have dashed the buildings. So the organizers have dashed the buildings. So what have the organizers done? They have made the buildings in a particular category, isn't it? There will be a category of buildings. So they have categorized. So write down the word categorized, CATEGORIZED, categorized. Note it down. The plants and trees, the organizers have dashed the buildings. The organizers have categorized the buildings. Note it down. CATEGORIZED, that is the spelling. The next sentence, they will also dash the water system. They will also dash the water system. So what are they going to do? They are going to modernize the water system. You can see the word to make modern. Now we will be applying the suffix over there, modern and IZE along with the word modern. So modernize. Okay, so we already learned about how to change a given word by applying suffix and using it as a new word. So that is what we are doing in this exercise. They will also modernize. We have the word to make modern. Select the word modern, apply the IZE and write the word modernize or ISE. Both are correct, ISE or IZE. Modernize the water system. Well, the last sentence, they are also planning to erect a swimming pool, that is to construct. Erect means to make, to erect, to construct a swimming pool where we will be able to swim and dash. So what do we do in a swimming pool? We swim also and we take a bath also. So we have the word given to us, to take a bath. So we will apply the suffix and use the word bath and plus E into it, the letter E. So BATHE, we will be able to swim and bathe, BATHE, bathe. So apply the word, write the word BATHE, bathe over there. It is pronounced as bathe. So in this way we have inserted words with appropriate verbs by applying suffixes to the infinitives that were given to us. Well, this was activity 5 that we completed. Let us move further and discuss the next activity given to us. Be very, very attentive, be focused. Fill in the blanks with appropriate words. So once again we have an exercise about verbs. So let's look into this. The streets of the city are being dash. So you have been given the word in the bracket. We have to make use of these words, apply a suitable suffix into it and then write it over here. Well, we already learned about how to apply the suffix. So the similar activity we are going to do over here. Be very, very attentive. I'll give you the answers to this. The streets of the city are being widened. 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 Note it down. WIDENED. Widened. Note it down. You can write down the answers within the PDF copy itself. You don't have to write this or copy this in your Fair book. Next, do not speak so loudly. Dash your tone. So we have two sentences. Do not speak so loudly. Dash your tone. Soft is given, and we will write the word with the suffix soften. S-O-F-T-E-N. So I am applying en into it to make a new word, a new verb. Soften your tone. S-O-F-T-E-N. Note it down. Next one, the third one. They couldn't dash. He was blind for years. We have the word belief, B-E-L-I-E-F, belief, and we are going to change the word by eliminating the letter F. B-E-L-I-E-V-E, B-E-L-I-E-V-E. So F is removed and V-E is replaced over there in order to make a new verb. Next one, number 4. Similarly, we have got the word nobody dashed Joseph's death as much as spear, and we have the word grief. It is similar to the word belief. The same rule we will be applying over there, but we require a past tense over here. So write the answer G-R-I-E, G-R-I-E, and F is removed, eliminated. In the place of F we are writing V-E-D, grieved. We are using a past tense, unlike the previous word. G-R-I-E-V-E-D, grieved. Fifth one, Joseph's death dash Pierre's life forever. Dark. Dark is the word given to us over here. Joseph's death dash Pierre's life forever. Dark, darkened. So we are using another word by applying the suffix darkened. D-A-R-K-E-N-E-D. Apply the word E-N-E-D, darkened, D-A-R-K-E-N-E-D. So the words we are adding is E-N-E-D. Note it down. Sixth one, Jack's dash Pierre to take a day off, and we have the word advise, A-D-V-I-C-E, A-D-V-I-C-E. Now when you write the word over here, we'll have to change the spelling over here, like A-D-V-I-C-E and A-D-V-I-S-E-D. So C-E will change to S-E-D. Jack's dash Pierre to take a day off. Advised, which is a verb. So one is a noun and the other is a verb. So Jack's advised, write the answer A-D-V-I. The letter C-E will be removed, and in the place of C-E we are going to write S-E-D. So the whole spelling is A-D-V-I-S-E-D. Note it down. Seventh one, everyone dash the old man's death. The word is sympathy. Now somebody who is showing sympathy, we will be changing the word into its verb form, that is sympathized. So we will write over here by applying the suffix over here and making necessary changes. Everyone sympathized the old man's death. S-Y-M-P-A-T-H, S-Y-M-P-A-T-H. Now you see the last letter Y, the Y is to be eliminated, and in the place of Y we are going to add I-S-E-D. Yes, I repeat once again, I-S-E-D. So remove Y and add I-S-E-D in order to change the form into its verb. So sympathy now becomes sympathized. Everyone sympathized the old man's death. Eighth one, symbolizes. We have the word symbol given to us. This story dash love between animal and man. So the word given to us symbol, and we are going to write the verb form. This story symbolizes, S-Y-M-B-O-L-I-S-E-S. So what are we doing? We are not eliminating any word over here. Simply we are adding a few words over here, a few letters. So I-S-E-S. Add the letters I-S-E-S. Symbolizes. So this story symbolizes love between animal and man. This is how we have completed the sentence. Ninth one, Joseph's death dash Pierre, and the word is horrible. We are going to write the verb by applying the suffix over here. We will be writing horrible into horrified. So the spelling will change. Well, the part of the thing will remain the same. We will be changing a few things over here. Be attentive. Joseph's death horrified Pierre. Spelling of horrified, Horri. Now acknowledge this very well. Horri. The letters BLE will be striked off, will be removed, and in the place of that we are writing FIED. Horri. FIED. That's the whole spelling. Horrified. So Joseph's death horrified Pierre. That's the correct one over here. The last one. The warning yell of the truck dashed the old man, and we have the word terrible. Similarly, what we just wrote over here, horrible, we have to write the similar way, terrified. Same structure we are going to follow, the same pattern we are going to follow. Terrified, where we will be taking the word TERRI, eliminating the letters BLE and replacing it with FIED. So BLE will be replaced by the letters FIED. So HOTERRI terrified. That's the whole spelling and the answer for the 10th one. So I hope you understood the entire exercise. You don't have to write this, you can just write the answers and on a page and keep it with you for your ready reference whenever you want to go through this. You can do it, or alternatively you can write within the PDF by using a highlighter or a marker pen. The next activity you see is activity 7, which contains some MCQs. Well, you got a number of MCQs in your material, but these are textual MCQs. Pick out the appropriate expression for the underlined words or phrases in the following statement. So for each statement you've been given a few things underlined. For that underlined part you've been given 3 options to read and understand. So we will pick up one and write it. Let us go through this. Pick out the appropriate expression. The first one, as you see, the horseman was run over by a truck. The horseman was run over by a truck. The truck driver said, I couldn't help it. So see the words underlined, I couldn't help it, has 3 meanings over here. I was unable to save him. I regret I have killed him. I believe I was not in the wrong. Well, if you give a careful thought over here, you will be able to answer this one very, very correctly. The meaning of these words is nothing but the first one, I was unable to save him. So put a tick mark on the first one in the PDF, or alternatively you can note it down in your copies, wherever you are noting it down. Second one, used to say that he didn't need reins. So we have the underlined words, didn't need reins. Now we understood about the word reins, isn't it? Strap that is used to control a horse. The horse required no control. The horse could do without reins. The horse went out of his control. So think about the appropriate one. Well, if you give a careful thought, you will be able to understand the second option given to you, that is the horse could do without reins, is the correct choice over here. That would be the correct choice for us to select. Pierre used to say that he didn't need reins. The horse could do, he could do the task without using the reins. Therefore, the second option is the correct option over here. Tick mark, note it down. The third one, next you see in the PDF, maybe you have got the gout. Well, these were the words said by Jax. I hope you recall this. Maybe you've got the gout. So what does these words mean? He was sure that Perry suffered from gout. Now we know who is the person he over here. He is nothing but Jax over here. He was sure that Pierre suffered from gout. He thought Pierre suffered from gout, or he thought Pierre might develop a gout in future. Gout is a name of a disease, a skin disease we discussed earlier, isn't it? Well, so the answer to this one is option B over here, when Jax is saying maybe you have got the gout. He was sure that Pierre suffered. No, he was not sure. So we can't take the first one. Second one, he thought. Yes, he had a thought in his mind that maybe Pierre is suffering from a disease called gout. And the third one is nowhere in the understanding. He thought Pierre might develop gout in the future. No, that was not the part of the story. So out of the three, the second one is very clear. He thought Pierre suffered from a gout. That was a thought in his mind. So tick mark the second option. That is the correct answer over here. The next one, the fourth one, his salary will go on just the same. Well, these were the words that the milk company manager had told to Jacques. Let us see the three options for the underlined part. His salary will continue as usual. His salary will be raised, increased. His salary will be reduced, decreased. No. Very well you can say the answer over here without even referring the text. That what the manager had said, his salary will go on just the same, means his salary will continue as usual. So the first option out of the three options is the correct answer. The two are absolutely incorrect. This milk manager did not say about anything about raise or deduction. He just said will go on just the same. The last sentence, the last MCQ, he saw something which startled him. Well, the word only underlined is startled, isn't it? So we just have to pick up the appropriate meaning over here. Surprised, worried, saddened. Well, you must have learned about the meaning of the word startled earlier also. Well, startled means surprised, and the other two words does not fit the meaning of that word startled. So in this manner, we have we've understood the seventh activity that we are supposed to do. Well, the next activity we have is activity 8. Write underlined sentences of the passage in a different way as suggested below. Well, you have a few rules given to you. Well, you have these underlined sentences in the entire story on page number 10 and page number 12. So if you check out on page number 10 and 12, you will find these sentences given to you. I will just read out the sentences for you from page number 10 as well as page number 12. So open your PDF to page number 10 and see along with me as I try to show you. On page number 10, you have the underlined words. No one knew this street as well as did Pierre Dupin. Well, in the same page, in the third paragraph, you have another sentence underlined. Joseph knew the milk route as well as Pierre did. Similarly, you have one more sentence given to you on page number 12. That is about we'll find another host just as good as Joseph's. Well, so these three sentences that were marked in the paragraph and about which it is being discussed in this activity, in activity 8. We have further to understand the rule about this. When one thing or a person is compared with another thing or a person, the following things need to be kept in mind. What are those things? Interchange the places of the things or persons compared. That is one thing to keep in mind. Change the affirmative verb to negative and negative to affirmative. Change from as or so as, which is in the positive degree, to er and the word than in the comparative degree. So in this activity, basically we have been taught about changing a given sentence from its positive degree to the comparative degree, and similarly if it is the comparative degree to the positive degree. For that, we have got a few sentences given to us to observe. Observe the changes made in the following sentences. Well, read the sentence along with me from the PDF. Ramesh is as tall as Radha. Now, if you read the answer, the same sentence has been written in a different way by observing the above rules. What are the rules? Interchange the position of the thing or the person. So here you see Ramesh and Radha. The position is now interchanged. The same sentence without changing its meaning has been written by interchanging the position, and the degree of comparison is now changed from positive to comparative. Ramesh is as tall as Radha. Radha is not taller than Ramesh. So I hope you observed this. Radha came first, Ramesh went at the end, and in between what is happening? Is not taller. So three rules we have observed over here. First of all, Radha and Ramesh, the two nouns, have interchanged the positions. Secondly, the degree which was as has now become er and then, taller and than. And secondly, the affirmative has become negative. So all the rules that we observed or we read earlier have been observed in this sentence. Let us read the next sentence. Hitesh was as strong as Hiren. So here we have the two nouns Hitesh and Hiren. We are saying Hitesh was as strong as Hiren. So we are using a positive degree over here, and the words as strong as, it means as the rule that we just understood. We will write the same sentence without changing its meaning in the comparative degree. It means we are going to use er and the word than. We are going to change the affirmative into negative, and the position of the things or the person is going to be exchanged. Have a careful look at the answer. Hiren was not stronger than Hitesh. So you see, all the rules have been observed over here. We are starting our sentence with Hiren and ending it with Hitesh. So the two positions have changed now. I hope you have understood this very well. Further, the next rule, in the first sentence it was Hitesh was as strong as. So as is the positive degree, but in the answer we are writing not stronger than. So stronger and than. Stronger is the er, that is the comparative form of strong, positive change into comparative now. And when you change into comparative, we have to use the word than. So than is also used in this sentence. I hope you've understood this. And the next thing, that is the positive has now become negative. The affirmative has now become negative because the word not has been applied over there, isn't it? So Hiren was not stronger than Hitesh. So all the above rules that we just read about writing a positive degree sentence into a comparative degree without changing its meaning has been observed over here. So we have learned about this now. Next sentence, you see, you are as intelligent as your brother. It means what? Are you intelligent or your brother intelligent? No, we don't mean to say anyone is more intelligent. We mean to say both are equally intelligent. Now if both are equally intelligent and I want to use a comparative degree, then how to use it? Let us see in the answer. Your brother is not more intelligent. See the word more intelligent? Well, we had to use the word more. You must have learned in the earlier class that when an adjective or an adverb for which we are changing the positive into comparative is not a monosyllabic word, has got more than one syllable, then we use the word more and most. Well, so here we are using the word more. Your brother is not more intelligent than you. So you see the positions have now changed. So your brother, which was the end of the sentence, has now become the first part of the sentence. Your brother is not more. So you see more intelligent. We are using the er over here along with the word than, more intelligent than. And the affirmative is changing to negative. In the question it was you are as intelligent. It was an affirmative statement. But when I write the comparative form, I am using a negative statement. Your brother is not more intelligent. So not, when I apply it, becomes negative. Your brother is not more intelligent than you. Again the word you, which was right in the beginning, has taken the position at the end. So you see, just the rules we have observed carefully. We understood the rules. Once again I'll read the rules. When one thing or a person is compared with another thing, the following things needs to be taken care of. Interchange the places of the things or persons compared. So that is what we have done. Change the affirmative to negative and negative verb to affirmative. So that is also what we have done in these three sentences. Change the form as or so as, which is positive, to er than, which is comparative. Let us see the last one. whether the rules have been observed. This time we have got so as and not as. Have a careful look. A donkey is not so clever as a horse. So this time what happened? We have been given a donkey is not so clever. So this time we have got two changes to look into. First of all, the sentence given to us as a question, a donkey is not so clever as a horse, has a negative statement, and apart from that, the statement is in the positive degree, so clever as. So as has been used plus a negative has been used. So when you write the comparative form, we will have to take care of two important things, all the rules as well as the thing over here. A horse is cleverer than a donkey. So you see what has happened? The positions of the two nouns have changed. A donkey became the last part of the sentence, a horse became the first part of the sentence. So what happened? We have observed the first rule that we read, interchanging the positions of the things or the person. So here horse and donkey and horse have now exchanged places. A horse is cleverer. So when I say is cleverer, it is becoming positive. But the question was negative. In the positive sentence, it was a positive sentence in the positive form over there, isn't it? It was an affirmative. The sentence was affirmative when I was writing a positive degree of the adjective. In the answer, we've written a horse is cleverer. So what am I using? A comparative degree. And the negative form of the sentence is becoming a positive form now. So a horse is cleverer than, again see the word than is used, a donkey. So all the rules have been observed in these four sentences. So I hope you understood how to utilize these rules. This was about activity 8. Well, the next activity that you see, so activity 8 we just understood about this. So activity 8 is not to be written by you anywhere in the fair book, but activity 9 is to be written by you and activity 10 as well. So we'll quickly discuss about these two activities. Rewrite the following sentences as directed. So you have been given sentences, 7 sentences, and you have been clearly given what is to be done. Rewrite using high, rewrite using newer, rewrite using difficult, rewrite, change the degree, use intelligence and good and rewrite the sentence, change the degree, change the degree. So we just discussed about the change of a sentence from positive to comparative in order to observe the rules. Well, similar rules you have to follow and do this activity in your fair book as a part of your writing in the fair book. So activity 9 is to be done in the fair book by all you students over there. Okay, so remember this, note it down. Next we have activity 10. Write a paragraph on the following in about 150 words. How should animals be treated? So you have been given this time, unlike the paragraph that you wrote as paragraph writing in the poem about landscapes, where I try to discuss with you the different points with the help of images. A simple question is being asked over here, how should animals be treated? Well, you have to write a paragraph about this topic with the help of the useful points given to you. You can see usefulness of animals to mankind. We discussed in the first lecture also how they are usually treated. Well, we know they should be treated well, but sometimes they are not treated well by their masters. Suffering of the animals we know, change in our attitude and treatment towards animals. So these points will be utilized by you to frame, to write a paragraph in about 150 words. Well, you can write this paragraph, the activity 10, in your fair books. So two things you have over here, activity 9 and 10 to write in your fair book, along with the other things I just discussed with you. So I hope you understood what is to be written in your fair book as a thing. And the homework I already told you, I will write the homework on the board finally before I take leave from you. Note down the homework. You have the textual questions, textual question answers to be written, that is activity 4. So activity 4, So I discussed this with you. Activity 4 contains 8 question answers. These question answers are already given to you in the material from 16 to 23. So write the answers to these questions and submit it as a homework in a PDF format after the lecture. Well, this was all for today's lecture and for this chapter. See you soon in the upcoming lecture. Till then, take care. Have a nice day and goodbye.